The crew of Earth Defense Station 7 watched as the unknown spacecraft slowed down near Jupiter's orbit. No one had seen anything like it before. The ship was smooth and silver, about the size of a small city, and it moved in ways that defied Earth's best technology. Fleet Admiral William Carter stood with his hands behind his back, watching the main screen. His gray hair and stern face showed years of experience, but even he had never faced a moment like this. "Send the first contact message again," he ordered. Lieutenant Amy Clark nodded. "Message sent, sir." Still no response. The room was quiet except for the soft beeping of computers. 20 people worked at their stations, monitoring the alien ship that had appeared 3 days ago. Then suddenly, the screen flickered. A face appeared, clearly not human. The being had pale blue skin, large purple eyes, and no visible nose or ears. "Greetings, people of Earth. I am Ambassador Lyra of the Ardani. We come in peace, representing the Galactic Council." The control room erupted in whispers. Carter raised his hand for silence. "I am Fleet Admiral William Carter of Earth's United Space Command. We welcome you to our solar system." Within hours, the news spread across Earth and its colonies on Mars and Europa. Humans were not alone in the universe, and the aliens wanted to talk. 3 days later, Ambassador Lyra's ship docked at the International Space Station. United Nations Secretary-General Maria Rodriguez waited with Admiral Carter and a small team of scientists and diplomats. Lyra emerged from her ship with 2 other Ardani. They wore simple white clothing that seemed to shimmer slightly. "Thank you for your welcome," Lyra said, her voice musical and clear. "The Galactic Council has observed your species for some time. Your recent achievements in space travel qualify you for formal introduction." Secretary-General Rodriguez stepped forward. "We have many questions, Ambassador." As expected, Lyra smiled. "The Galactic Council includes 27 advanced species that govern most of the Milky Way. We maintain peace, regulate technology sharing, and protect developing worlds." "And Earth?" Carter asked. "Your world is at a turning point. You have developed faster than light travel without destroying yourselves. A rare achievement. The Council wishes to discuss potential membership." The group moved to the station's conference room. Dr. Susan Wright, Earth's leading xenobiologist, could barely contain her excitement. "Your physiology is fascinating," she told Lyra. "Your species evolved in a high-oxygen environment." "Yes, our homeworld has 30% oxygen atmosphere. Very similar to your Carboniferous period." Admiral Carter was less interested in biology. "What exactly does the Council want from us?" Lyra's large eyes blinked slowly. "To observe, to evaluate. The Council has protocols for emerging spacefaring species. And if we don't meet your standards," Carter pressed. Rodriguez shot him a warning look, but Lyra seemed untroubled. "All species develop at their own pace. We simply wish to establish diplomatic relations." Later that evening, Earth's leadership held an emergency meeting. They decided to accept the invitation to send representatives to the Galactic Council. "We need experienced diplomats," Rodriguez said. "People who can represent humanity's best qualities." Joseph Miller was the obvious choice. At 62, he had negotiated peace treaties in Earth's most dangerous conflict zones. His calm demeanor and sharp mind made him respected worldwide. Dr. Susan Wright would join him, along with physicist Paul Winters and cultural anthropologist Olivia Garcia. 1 week later, the team prepared to board Lyra's ship. Crowds gathered to watch the historic moment. Admiral Carter pulled Miller aside. "I don't fully trust them. Stay alert." Miller nodded. "I've negotiated with warlords and dictators. I can handle some blue aliens." "The fate of humanity might depend on it," Carter said grimly. As the human delegation boarded the Ardani ship, billions watched on screens across the solar system. The ship rose silently, then accelerated away from Earth, carrying the first humans to visit the stars. Nobody knew that the Galactic Council chambers already buzzed with debate about the human problem, or that humanity's greatest test was about to begin. Joseph Miller pressed his face against the viewing window as the Ardeni ship slowed. After 3 weeks of travel through what Lyra called fold space, they had arrived. Nexus Station hung in the darkness like a massive silver wheel, bigger than any structure humans had ever built. "It's 10 times the size of Earth's moon," said Dr. Susan Wright, standing beside him. Her eyes were wide with wonder. Lyra approached them. "Welcome to Nexus Station, home of the Galactic Council. Over 2 million beings from 27 species live and work here." The human delegation felt small as they stepped off the ship. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved through the vast docking bay. Some floated on air cushions, others walked on multiple legs, and a few seemed to glide like snakes. "Follow me," Lyra said. "The council is waiting." They walked through wide corridors with high ceilings. The air smelled clean but strange. "Is that safe for us to breathe?" asked Paul Winters, the physicist. "The station adjusts air composition in different sections," Lyra explained. "Your corridor maintains Earth normal conditions." They stopped at a large door made of a material that looked like gold but flowed like water. "Wait here," Lyra said. "I will announce you." While they waited, a clicking sound approached from behind. They turned to see what looked like a 7-foot-tall praying mantis. "Greetings, humans," the creature said through a small device on its chest. "I am Chief Engineer Ketsin of the Volari. Your species is most welcome here." Joseph Miller stepped forward. "Thank you. I'm Joseph Miller, lead diplomat from Earth." The Volari's compound eyes shimmered. "Your world has accomplished much in a short time. Many watch your progress with interest." Before Miller could respond, another alien approached. This one looked like a blue-green humanoid frog with large, intelligent eyes. "I am Elder Sashin of the Meridians," she said. Her voice was soft and melodic, with no need for a translation device. "We are pleased to meet Earth's children at last." Dr. Wright couldn't hide her excitement. "Your telepathic abilities are remarkable. Are you communicating directly to our minds?" Sashin smiled. "We Meridians find it simpler to adapt our speech patterns to your brain structure than to use translation technology." The golden door suddenly parted like water. Lyra appeared. "The council will see you now." The chamber beyond was enormous. A circular table surrounded a central platform, and at the table sat representatives from 27 species. Some were vaguely humanoid, others completely alien. Miller noticed some seats seemed designed for beings made of gas or liquid. A tall, thin alien with gray skin and black eyes stood. "I am High Executor Drav Sorin of the Ixalans, leader of the Galactic Council. Humans of Earth, you stand before the oldest governing body in known space." His voice was cold and formal. Miller felt an instant dislike for him. "We thank the Council for this opportunity," Miller said, bowing slightly. "Your species has been deemed worthy of observation." Soren continued. "You may present your case for potential future membership." Miller spoke for 20 minutes about Earth's history, achievements, and values. As he talked, he noticed different reactions among the council members. The Volari and Meridians seemed interested and supportive, but Soren and several others remained stone-faced. After the presentation, Soren spoke again. "You will be assigned quarters on level 87. The evaluation process will take several months." Later, as they toured the station with Lyra, Miller noticed something strange. Many aliens seemed to watch them with either great interest or obvious discomfort. While walking past a side corridor, Miller overheard 2 aliens speaking. He couldn't see them, but their voices carried. "The humans adapt too quickly. Have you seen their test results?" "Yes." High Executor Kturind is concerned. "They could become like the Zenari." "We all remember what happened to the Zenari." Miller slowed down, trying to hear more, but Lyra urged him forward. That evening in their quarters, Dr. Wright showed Miller something on her datapad. "I found these research files. Council species have been watching Earth for over 300 years. Miller frowned. They're evaluating us, but I don't think everyone agrees on what to do with humans. And who were the Zanari? I don't know, Wright said. But I intend to find out. 3 months passed on Nexus Station. The human delegation learned quickly, surprising many council species. Joseph Miller became skilled at navigating the complex politics of the Galactic Council. Dr. Susan Wright spent hours in the science exchange, sharing Earth knowledge and learning alien technologies. One morning, Miller met with the Volari representative in a quiet garden area. "Your people continue to impress, Joseph Miller," said Ketsin, his mantis-like form towering over the human. "Yesterday, Dr. Wright mastered bioscanning techniques that took my species decades to understand. Humans adapt quickly when given new information," Miller said with a smile. "Too quickly, some think." Ketsin's voice dropped lower. "The council session today will be difficult for you." Miller frowned. "Why? What's happening?" "General Zorvan will present a report about human military capabilities. The Ixilans have been gathering information." Inside the council chamber later that day, Miller and Wright sat at the small table assigned to Earth. Around them, representatives from 27 species watched as General Zorvan, a heavily armored reptilian alien, stood to speak. "Honored council members," Zorvan began, "my security forces have completed their assessment of human military potential. Their findings are concerning. Images appeared in the air, Earth warships, soldiers in combat, nuclear weapons tests. While primitive by our standards, human weapons develop at an alarming rate. More concerning is their history of conflict. In just 1 century, they fought 2 global wars and countless smaller ones." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Miller stood up. "General Zorvan presents an incomplete picture. Yes, we have a history of conflict, but also of making peace. The United Earth government has maintained global stability for 40 years. High Executor Xurin's cold voice cut in. "Yet you continue to build weapons. Your Mars colonies have military installations. Why, if you are peaceful?" Before Miller could answer, Elder Sashin of the Meridian spoke. "All young species have violent pasts. The Ixilans themselves fought 3 interplanetary wars before joining the Council." Soren's black eyes narrowed. "That was 5,000 years ago, Elder, and humans deserve the same time to grow," Sashin replied calmly. The debate continued for hours. Miller noticed that younger council species seemed supportive of humans, while older ones appeared suspicious or hostile. After the session, Miller received an urgent message from Admiral Carter back on Earth. "Joseph, council ships have been detected near Europa colony." Carter's face looked grim on the screen. "They're scanning our defenses. What's happening up there?" "The council is divided about us," Miller explained. "Some see us as a threat." Carter frowned. "I'm increasing patrols. Keep your eyes open." That evening, Ambassador Lyra visited the human quarters. Her usually calm face showed worry. "Joseph Miller, I must warn you. Some council members push for a containment strategy against Earth." "Containment?" Wright asked. "What does that mean?" "Restricting human expansion, limiting your technology development, possibly establishing military outposts in your system." Miller's face hardened. "That sounds like occupation, not membership." Lyra lowered her voice. "The Ixilans fear your potential. Humans learn faster than most species. Your adaptability threatens their influence." "We've done nothing wrong," Miller protested. "It's not what you've done. It's what they believe you might become." Lyra glanced nervously at the door. "Be careful. Watch what you say in council sessions." After she left, Miller paced the room. "This was never about membership. They're evaluating whether we're a threat." Wright nodded. "Remember that reference to the Zanari? I've been researching. They were an innovative species from 2,000 years ago." All references to them stopped suddenly. "We need allies," Miller said. Elder Sashin and Ketsin seemed friendly. Maybe they know more. "And we need to get a message home. Wright added, "If the Council is really considering military action against Earth, then we're running out of time," Miller finished, looking out the window at the vast expanse of stars. Somewhere out there, Earth waited, unaware of the danger gathering around it. Dr. Susan Wright waited nervously outside the maintenance shaft on level 42 of Nexus Station. She checked her small computer device again. The station's night cycle had begun, and most areas were quiet. "Are you certain this is wise?" asked Ketsin as he approached, his insect-like form moving silently despite its size. "We need proof," Wright said. "If what you told us about the Ascendancy Protocol is true, we need to find the files." The Valeri engineer's compound eyes glittered. "The Ixalans will not appreciate humans accessing restricted archives. Then they shouldn't be planning to attack our planet," Wright replied firmly. Ketsin used his access code to open the maintenance shaft. Inside was a narrow tunnel that led to the station's central data core. Wright squeezed through spaces barely large enough for her human frame, while Ketsin guided her via communicator. "Turn left at the next junction. The terminal is hidden behind a ventilation panel." Wright found the panel and removed it. Behind it was a small computer terminal. She connected her device to it. "I'm in. Now to search for the Ascendancy Protocol." Her fingers moved quickly over the screen. Years of xenobiological research had made her good at recognizing patterns, even in alien computer systems. Soon she found what she was looking for. "Ketsin, I found it. Downloading now." Back in the human quarters, Joseph Miller waited anxiously. When Wright finally returned, her face was pale. "We were right," she said, displaying the files on a screen. "The Ascendancy Protocol is a doctrine created by the Ixalans 8,000 years ago. They'd used it 7 times before." Miller leaned forward. "Used it how?" "To eliminate species they considered evolutionary threats." Wright's voice trembled slightly. "The Zanari were one of them. They developed faster-than-light technology too quickly. The Ixalans feared they would surpass them." "What happened to them?" Wright pointed to images in the file. "The Council declared them dangerous expansionists. Their colonies were quarantined, their technology confiscated. When they resisted," she paused, "the Ixalans sterilized their homeworld." Miller sat heavily in his chair. "And they're considering the same for us." "Not exactly the same. The protocol has stages. First containment, then technology restrictions, then military action if needed." "We need to warn Earth," Miller said. "Communications are monitored," Wright reminded him. "But I have another idea. Elder Sashin's telepathic abilities might help us confirm what the Council is really planning." The next day, Miller met Elder Sashin in the station's arboretum, a large garden area filled with plants from many worlds. "What you ask is forbidden," Sashin said after hearing Miller's request. "To use telepathy in council chambers violates our oldest laws. If the Ixalans are planning to attack Earth, millions could die," Miller pleaded. Sashin's large eyes blinked slowly. "I sense your genuine concern. Very well. During tomorrow's closed session, I will verify your suspicions." The council meeting the next day was tense. High Executor Xorin spoke about securing the Galactic Rim and preventive security measures. As he talked, Elder Sashin sat motionless, her eyes half closed. After the session, Sashin, Miller, and Wright met in a private room. "It is worse than you feared," Sashin said quietly. "Xorin and his allies plan a preemptive strike against your Mars and Europa colonies within 30 days. They will claim these are defensive measures against human aggression." "We have to send word to Earth," Miller said urgently. "I can help with that," Sashin replied. "The Meridians have ways of communicating that the Ixalans cannot detect." That night, Miller composed a warning message to Admiral Carter. As Wright helped encrypt it using Meridian technology, a loud bang shook their door. "Security forces, open immediately." 4 armed guards burst in, led by General Xorin himself. "Joseph Miller and Susan Wright of Earth, you are detained for unauthorized access to restricted council archives. and suspected espionage. This is outrageous, Miller protested as guards surrounded them. The council will decide your fate, Zorvan growled. Until then, you will remain under house arrest. All communications privileges are revoked. As the guards set up positions outside their quarters, Wright whispered to Miller, "Did the message get through?" Miller nodded slightly, just before they arrived. "Now we have to hope Carter believes it and can find allies. Otherwise, Earth stands alone." Admiral William Carter stood before the United Earth Defense Council in their underground headquarters beneath Geneva. The room was silent as the 14 representatives from Earth's major regions listened to Miller's message for the third time. "This is not a drill," Miller's voice said from the recording. "The Ixalans plan to attack our colonies within 30 days. They will claim we are the aggressors. Prepare defenses, but seek allies. Not all Council species support this action." "Could this be a mistake?" asked Representative Lee from the Asian Alliance. "Maybe Miller misunderstood their intentions." Carter shook his head. "Our deep space monitors have detected unusual movement of large vessels near the outer system. Something is coming." "What can we do?" asked Representative Garcia from South America. "If their technology is as advanced as Miller reported, we cannot win a direct fight." "We fight smart, not just hard," Carter replied. "I've already ordered our colonies on Mars and Europa to activate emergency protocols. But we need diplomatic solutions too." He turned to his most trusted officer, Captain Lisa Young. "I'm sending you on a special mission." The Ardani ambassador left 3 communication devices before returning to Nexus Station. They can reach friendly species directly. Captain Young stood straight, her determined face showing no fear. "What are my orders, sir?" "Find allies. The Ardani, Volari, Meridians, any species willing to help. Make them understand this isn't just about Earth. It's about preventing the Ixalans from eliminating any species they see as a threat." On Nexus Station, Dr. Susan Wright paced their quarters like a caged animal. 5 days had passed since their house arrest began. "We need to get out of here," she said to Miller. "Every day we're trapped is another day Earth can't prepare properly." Miller was about to answer when their door chimed. It slid open to reveal Ketsin, the Volari engineer. "I bring food supplements," he said loudly for the guards to hear. But as he set down the tray, he slipped Wright a small device. After he left, Wright examined it. "It's a security bypass. We can use it on the door after the next shift change." Miller looked worried. "If we escape, won't that just confirm their accusations about humans being dangerous?" "If we stay, we can't help Earth," Wright countered. "Besides, the Volari wouldn't help us if they thought we were wrong." That night, they waited until the guard rotation. Wright used the device on their door, and it slid open silently. They moved through dimly lit corridors, following the escape route Sin had programmed into the device. "This way," Wright whispered, pointing to a small maintenance hatch. "It leads to the shuttle bay." Before they could reach it, alarms blared throughout the station. A voice boomed over the speakers. "Security alert. Human delegates have escaped containment. All units respond." "Run," Miller shouted. They sprinted down the corridor, but skidded to a halt as a figure stepped out before them. It was Elder Sashin of the Meridians. "This way," she said calmly, opening a hidden panel in the wall. "Quickly." They followed her into a narrow passage that seemed to bypass the main corridors. After several minutes of walking, they emerged in a small hangar containing a sleek shuttle. "This vessel will take you to my homeworld," Sashin explained. "The Meridian Council has called an emergency session to discuss the Ixalan threat." "Why are you helping us?" Miller asked. "Because the Ixalan's actions threaten the balance of our galaxy. For too long, we have allowed them to eliminate species they feared, no more." Meanwhile, Captain Lisa Young arrived at a secret location in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Her small, unmarked ship docked with a larger vessel hidden among the rocks. Inside, representatives from 7 species waited: the Ardani, Volari, and 5 others Miller had mentioned as potentially friendly. "I am Captain Lisa Young of Earth," she announced. "I come seeking allies against an unjust attack." Ambassador Lyra of the Ardani stepped forward. "Captain, we have been monitoring the situation. Many of us disagree with the Ixalan's plans. Will you help us?" Young asked directly. "It is complicated," said the Volari representative. "The Council has stood for 20,000 years. To oppose it openly. If the Ixalans can target humans today, they could target any of your species tomorrow," Young argued passionately. "Miller's message said you've helped other species before, and failed," Lyra admitted sadly. "But perhaps this time will be different. Humans have shown remarkable ability to inspire cooperation. Then help us now," Young pleaded, "not just for Earth, but for all species who deserve the freedom to develop without fear." The 7 representatives looked at each other, a silent communication passing between them. Finally, Lyra spoke. "We will help. The Ixalans will not destroy another world." High Executor Soren stood before the full Galactic Council, his tall gray form rigid with anger. The Grand Chamber was filled with tension as representatives from all 27 species watched in silence. "I call for an emergency vote," Soren declared. "Earth has proven itself a dangerous, unpredictable species. Their delegates have committed espionage, accessed restricted files, and escaped lawful detention. We must act now to contain the human threat." General Zorvan stood beside him, displaying images of Earth's military forces. "Our intelligence confirms they are preparing for aggression. We must authorize immediate military action." Murmurs spread through the chamber. The Ixalans had led the Council for thousands of years, and few had ever openly challenged them. But today was different. "I request permission to speak," came a clear voice. Ambassador Lyra of the Ardani stepped into the center of the chamber. Soren's black eyes narrowed. "Speak, Ambassador, but be brief." "Honored Council members," Lyra began, "the Ardani delegation opposes military action against Earth. Humans have shown no aggression toward any Council species. Their only crime was discovering the truth about our past actions." "The Ardani position is noted," Soren said dismissively. "Now we will vote on Resolution 7293, authorization for security operations in Earth space." The Volari also opposed this resolution, clicked Ketsin, rising from his seat. "Humans have demonstrated exceptional creativity and adaptation. They should be welcomed, not attacked." Zoran's face darkened. 2 objections are not enough to halt a security vote. The procedure will continue. The Meridians stand with Earth. Every head turned as Elder Sashin entered the chamber. Behind her walked Joseph Miller and Dr. Susan Wright, along with the Meridian High Council. "This is outrageous," Soren shouted. "The human delegates are under arrest." "They are under Meridian protection," Sashin replied calmly. "And I have evidence that must be shared with the full council." Before Soren could object, Sashin activated a projection in the center of the room. Images appeared showing historical records of the Ascendancy Protocol. The chamber grew deadly quiet as council members saw proof of previous species that had been contained by Ixalan forces. "For 8,000 years, Sashin said, the Ixalans had eliminated any species they deemed a potential rival. The Zenari, the Krell, the Mohari, all developed too quickly, showed too much potential. All were destroyed under false pretenses. This is forbidden knowledge," General Zorvan growled. "Accessing these records is treason." Joseph Miller stepped forward. "Is it treason to expose genocide? The Council was founded to protect all intelligent life, not to destroy it out of fear." Soren's voice cut through the commotion. "We will proceed with the vote. The security of the galaxy depends on containing the human threat." One by one, the Council members cast their votes. To the Ixalan's shock, 14 species voted against military action. The Ardani, Volari, and Meridians were joined by 11 others. "This is unprecedented," Soren sputtered. "No security resolution has ever been rejected." Perhaps it's time for change, said a representative of the Tellarites, a species that had always supported the Ixilans before. We have watched humans closely. They build bridges between different cultures. They find common ground where we see only differences. The vote is illegitimate, Soren declared. The Ixilan fleet will proceed with containment operations regardless. Earth's expansion must be stopped. The chamber erupted in debate. 3 more species switched their votes against military action after hearing Soren's threat to ignore the Council's decision. Ambassador Lyra moved to stand beside Miller. This has never happened before. The Council is fracturing. What does this mean? Dr. Wright asked. It means, Elder Sashin explained, that for the first time in 20,000 years, the Ixilans may not get their way. Soren slammed his fist on the table. This session is adjourned. The Ixilan Directorate will take independent action to protect galactic security. As Soren and his allies stormed out, Miller turned to the remaining council members. The Ixilans are still going to attack Earth, aren't they? Ketsin's compound eyes glittered. Yes, but now they will do so without council approval. And they will not attack alone. What do you mean? Miller asked. He means, Lyra explained, that we will stand with humanity. Around the chamber, representatives from 17 species nodded in agreement. The Galactic Council had formally split, with the majority now allied with Earth. The human colony on Europa looked peaceful against the backdrop of Jupiter's swirling clouds. Nearly 30,000 people lived under its protective domes, mining the moon's resources and studying its vast subsurface ocean. Colony Governor Frank Wilson was reviewing daily reports when the alarm sounded. Multiple ships detected entering Jupiter space, announced the security chief. Configuration matches the vessels Joseph Miller described in his warning. Wilson activated the emergency broadcast. All civilians to shelter areas. This is not a drill. Within minutes, the first Ixilan battleships appeared in orbit around Europa. Their massive black hulls blocked out the stars, and smaller vessels began to descend toward the colony. They're deploying ground forces, the security chief reported. Estimated landing in 12 minutes. Governor Wilson opened a communication channel. Ixilan vessels, this is Europa colony. We are a civilian research settlement. Please state your intentions. The screen flickered, showing General Zorvan's reptilian face. Human colony, this is General Zorvan of the Galactic Council Security Force. Your settlement has been deemed a military threat. Surrender all defense systems and prepare for occupation. We have no significant defenses, Wilson protested. We're scientists and miners, not soldiers. You have 10 minutes to comply, Zorvan said before cutting the transmission. Wilson's next call went to Earth. Admiral Carter, the Ixilans are here. They're demanding surrender. Carter's face looked grim on the screen. Stall them. Help is coming. Above Earth, the United Space Command's defense fleet prepared for battle. 28 warships, humanity's best technology, moved into defensive positions. Admiral Carter knew they were outmatched by the Ixilan fleet, but they would fight regardless. All ships at battle stations, Carter ordered from the bridge of his flagship. Prepare to jump to Europa on my mark. Sir, his tactical officer interrupted. Multiple fold space signatures detected approaching the system. They're not Ixilan configurations. Carter tensed. More hostiles. Before anyone could answer, a communication request came through. Captain Lisa Young's face appeared on screen. Admiral, don't fire. These are allies. Carter watched in amazement as ships from 7 different alien species emerged from fold space near Earth. The Ardani vessels were elegant silver spirals. The Volari ships looked like massive geometric crystals. The others were equally strange and beautiful. We received your distress call, Ambassador Lyra said, joining the transmission. The Alliance of Sovereign Species stands with humanity. At Europa, General Zorvan was growing impatient. Begin landing procedures. The humans have failed to comply. General, his sensor officer reported, multiple ships approaching. They appear to be council vessels. Zorvin stared at the tactical display as ships from the Volari, Ardani, Meridians, and 4 other species appeared around Europa, positioning themselves between the colony and the Ixalan fleet. What is the meaning of this? Zorvin demanded over an open channel. Ambassador Lyra's voice responded calmly. The Council voted against military action, General. You have no authority here. I have the authority of the Ixalan Directorate, Zorvin roared. And we have the authority of 17 sovereign species, replied Elder Sashin of the Meridians, including these humans you seek to destroy. On the lead Volari ship, Joseph Miller and Dr. Susan Wright stood beside Ketsin, watching the confrontation unfold. Will they back down? Wright asked nervously. The Ixalans have never faced united opposition before, Ketsin answered. This is unprecedented. Suddenly, a new ship emerged from Fold space, larger than any other vessel present. Its smooth blue-green surface rippled like water. The Meridian Guardian vessel, Ketsin explained with awe in his voice. It has not been seen in 500 years. The massive ship moved into position and projected a shimmering energy field around Europa and the Allied vessels. The field expanded, creating a barrier that the Ixalans could not penetrate. Captain Young's voice came over the communication system. General Zorvin, Earth's defense fleet is also en route. You are outgunned and surrounded. For several tense minutes, the Ixalan fleet held position. Then, slowly, their weapons powered down. This is not over, Zorvin declared. The Ixalan Directorate will not forget this interference. One by one, the Ixalan ships turned away and disappeared into Fold space. As they retreated, cheers erupted throughout the Allied fleet and on Europa's surface. Miller turned to Ambassador Lyra. Thank you. You saved my people today. No, Lyra replied. Today, we all saved each other. The Ixalan's power is broken. A new era has begun. 6 months after the confrontation at Europa, Nexus Station looked very different. The Grand Council chamber had been redesigned. Instead of the old hierarchical arrangement with the Ixalans at the head, the new circular table truly represented equality among species. Joseph Miller straightened his formal blue uniform as he prepared to address the first official summit of the Alliance of Sovereign Species. As Earth's first official ambassador, he carried the hopes of humanity on his shoulders. Nervous? Asked Dr. Susan Wright, who stood beside him as his chief science advisor. Miller smiled. A little. 6 months ago, we were facing extinction. Now we're helping reshape galactic politics. The chamber doors opened, and they entered together. Representatives from 18 species rose in greeting, including the newest member, humanity. Ambassador Lyra of the Ardani spoke first. We gather today to formalize the principles of our new alliance. For too long, the old council operated on fear and control. Today we choose a different path. Miller took his place at the table. Around him sat aliens of all shapes and sizes, yet they had found common ground. The Volari, Meridians, Ardani, and 14 other species had stood with humanity against the Ixalans. Now they would build something new together. On Mars, a different kind of cooperation was taking place. Captain Lisa Young walked through the newly established joint research facility, where human scientists worked alongside Ardani experts. The terraforming project is 6 weeks ahead of schedule, reported the Ardani lead scientist. By combining our atmospheric processing technology with your botanical adaptation methods, we may see results within decades rather than centuries. Young smiled. That's what happens when we work together instead of against each other. Back on Earth, Admiral Carter met with the United Earth Defense Council. The room now included holographic projections of representatives from allied species. Our combined patrol fleets have maintained peace in the outer system, Carter reported. The Ixalans have withdrawn to their core territories. And the Joint Defense Force? Asked Representative Garcia. Operational as of last week, Carter replied. Ships from Earth, Volari, and Ardani now train together. The Meridians have provided their shield technology for all member worlds. In a quiet garden on Nexus Station, Elder Seshin of the Meridians met with a surprising visitor, a young Ixalan diplomat. My government sends unofficial greetings, the Ixalan said cautiously. The Directorate wishes to explore the possibility of normalized relations with the Alliance. Sashin's large eyes studied him carefully. Your people have much to answer for. Yes, the diplomat admitted. But change is coming to Ixalan society too. Many of our younger generation question the old ways. Back in the main chamber, Miller addressed the gathered representatives. 6 months ago, humanity faced destruction because one species feared our potential. Today, we gather as equals, not because we are the same, but because we respect our differences. Earth brings to this alliance our greatest strength, not our technology or our resources, but our ability to adapt, to change, to find connections where others see only barriers. He looked around at the alien faces. Some had mandibles, others had tentacles, some breathed different atmospheres. Yet they had found common purpose. The Ixalans wanted to attack humanity because they feared what we might become, Miller continued. They never understood that our greatest power isn't in conquering, but in connecting. We don't want to rule the stars. We want to explore them, together with all of you. The chamber filled with the various sounds of approval from 18 different species. That evening, Miller stood at a viewing window, looking out at the stars. Dr. Wright joined him. What are you thinking about? She asked. How close we came to losing everything, he replied. And how sometimes the greatest victories don't come from fighting. Wright nodded. The Ixalans had the most powerful fleet, but we had something stronger. Friends, Miller said simply. Turns out that works the same across the galaxy. In the distance, ships from a dozen worlds moved through space around Nexus Station. Among them were vessels from Earth, now recognized not as threats, but as valued allies in a new galactic community built on cooperation instead of fear. The Galactic Council had wanted to attack humanity, but their own allies had refused to support them. In doing so, they had created something better. A future where no species needed to fear extinction for the crime of having potential.